Hi, it's Teri with an All Levels Flow Foundations class geared towards anybody, new practitioners, experienced students, to acquaint or reacquaint yourself with your poses, feel some sensations in your bodies. We'll be doing, I would call this bend and bow. To find a comfortable back bend requires having a little bit of flexibility in the spine, some twisting, opening in the hip flexors, strengthening into your hamstrings, and of course opening up your chests. So we will start lying on your bellies with your head at the top of your mat. In a sleeping crocodile, this is a very, very gentle back bend. As you're lying down, make sure that your ankles are not rolling out to the right. You want your ankles lined up directly over the toes. And place one hand on the top of the other. And just place your forehead on the top hand. And just notice your breath. Notice how rare it is that you all come into this pose, lying on your bellies. With the forehead on the hands, you feel a sense of grounding. Also in this position with the head down towards the mat, you get a sense of your own breath and the beating of your heart along with it. Just notice what's on the surface of the mat. Maybe roll your way around a little bit. Just get a little bit more sensation. Notice how you might be able to soften into the tops of your shoulders as the head grows a little bit heavier. Feel the heaviness of the back body into the front body. Start to feel a little bit more of a core engagement, pulling the belly in and up. And breathing here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue to find a soft rhythm to your breath, breathing in and out through your nose. You can gently slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Press your hips back towards your heels. Slide your hands long behind you into child's pose. Again, feeling the back body rolling towards the front body. Draw your tailbone a little bit closer towards your heels, feeling a little bit more length. Your next breath in, slowly roll up. Open the chest, shoulders pull back. Exhale, lead with the belly of the chest. And let the chin drop down. 2 more times like this. Inhale, slowly rolling it up. Open your mouth, exhale. Starting to arch the spine, shoulder blades drawing towards one another. 1 more round. Inhale, slowly rolling it up. Sit back on your heels. Open the chest. Exhale. Follow the breath, follow the belly, the chest, and the chin down. Slide your hands in front of you. Come into a tabletop position, hands and knees. Shoulders are over your wrists, fingers are spread wide, knees are directly underneath your hips. As you breathe in, draw the chest through the shoulders for a cow position. Try not to collapse into the shoulders, pressing firmly into the hands. Feel nice long arms. Tilt your head, tilt your tailbone, another back bend. As you exhale, round the spine and counter that. Let your head and neck relax, hugging the belly in. As you breathe in next, draw your right leg back behind you so it's parallel to the floor. Lift the leg up, lift the chest. As you exhale, hug the knee towards the nose and round it out. Inhale, extend, chest forward, leg up. Exhale, hug the belly in as you round it out. 2 more times. Inhale, slowly gliding the leg back, lift the head. Exhale, hugging the belly in as you draw your knee to your nose. Inhale, extend, nice long line. Exhale, curl it in. Extend the right leg back behind you. Step your left foot a little bit outside towards the left, so it's at an angle. You can either lower your right foot down or leave it lifted. Press weight into your left hand, bring your right arm overhead for modified half moon rising. Pressing into your left hand, get a little bit more length in the palm to your fingertips. Point your right toes. Keep pressing down to lift up. Make sure that you can see your right foot. You don't want the foot drifting back behind you. Staying here for another breath as you draw your right arm overhead. You can stay either here, find that beautiful stretch from your fingertips to your toes, or perhaps bend your right knee, reach for your foot for a half bow pose, modified Chapasana. Press down into your left hand wherever you are. Find a little bit more length, a little bit more pliability in the torso. Push the foot into your hand if you have it. Staying here for another breath. Carefully release your foot, bring your right arm overhead. Everybody step your right hand back down underneath your right shoulder. Keep your right leg long. You can settle your left foot back where it came from. Step your right foot all the way to the back of the mat and press into the ball of the foot. You'll notice you start to feel a lot more engagement in your right hamstring. Step your left foot back to meet it for a high plank position. Now both hamstrings are working for you as well as your quads. Push the heels back, pull the belly in. Have your neck long as you look directly in front of you. Stay here for another breath. As you exhale, lower your knees, hug the elbows against the side body, all the way down onto the chest and belly. Clasp your hands behind you. Roll your heads of your shoulders up and back. Draw your knuckles away from your lower back. Pull the knuckles back. Lift the chest up a bit more. Continue to engage into the core, navel into the spine. Slowly raise your legs up, leading the inner thighs. Keep breathing in and out through the nose for another 3. Lift up a little bit more for 2, 1. Slowly lower it down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Press your way back to child's pose, sinking the hips back. Crawl your hands over towards the right front corner of the mat. Tend into your fingertips, pull your left hip back. Peek underneath your left shoulder. Find a little bit more stretch and length from your left hip all the way to the left fingertips. Maybe a little bit more of a twist as you draw your ribs around the spine towards the left. Another breath in. Slow breath out. Walk your hands back to center. Crawl them over towards the left. Same thing on this side, except now you're getting the stretch on the right side body. But continue to draw length into the left side. Roll your right hip back. Slide your right shoulder back. Ribs wrap around the spine for another breath. Carefully walk your hands back to center. Return to your tabletop position, hands and knees. As you breathe in, draw the chest to the shoulders, head and tailbone tilt. Exhale, hug the belly in as you round into your cat. Next breath in, raise your left leg so it's parallel to the floor. Nice engagement in the leg. Exhale, curl your knee into the nose and round it out. 3 more times. Inhale, extend, exhale, curl it in. Inhale, extend, exhale, curl it in. 2 more times. Inhale, extend, exhale, curl it in. Try to keep the hips level. Inhale, extend, exhale, curl it in. Extend the left leg back behind you. Step your right foot a little bit outside your mat. Start to stack your left hip on top of your right. Left arm reaches overhead for modified half moon rising, Ardha Chandrasana. Keep pressing weight into your right hand. Feel a little bit more length from the right toes all the way to the right hand. Draw your left arm by your ear. Staying either here or bending into your left knee, reaching for the top of your foot. Push the foot into the hand. Send the hip bones forward as you send your head back. So you're finding a little bit of a gentle back bend in your upper back. Continue to find that quad stretch. Push the foot away, and you're also opening up your iliopsoas, your hip flexor on the left leg. Stay here for another breath. Release your foot. Keep your left leg lifted as you lower your left hand down, squaring everything off. Step your left foot all the way to the back of the mat. Plug into the ball of the foot. Wake up your left hamstrings a little bit more. Step your right foot back to meet your left for your high plank position. Front body is supporting the back body. Pull the navel into the spine. Feel your front hip points draw right towards your lower ribs. Staying here for another 3. Fingers are spread wide. Press weight into your knuckles, the thumb and the index finger knuckles particularly. Quads go up towards your hamstrings. Stay here for another breath. As you exhale, lower your knees, elbows against the side body. As you pull the chest forward, come all the way back down. Tent your fingertips outside the mat. Take a breath in, press into the finger pads, lift the chest up, pull the belly in. As you exhale, lower the belly, the chest, and the chin. Inhale, slowly rolling it up. Exhale, lower the belly, chest, and chin. Make sure your outer ankles aren't spinning out outside. Inhale, slowly rolling it up. Exhale, slowly roll it down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, slowly straightening your arms a little bit. So the elbows are a little bit bent, but you're pressing into your hands, pull the elbows together towards the ribs, Find a little bit of more of a cobra. Exhale, release it down. Press into your palms, send your hips back. You can separate your knees a bit, toes are together for puppy pose. Inhale, glide all the way forward. Dip the hips, sink the chest forward and up. Cobra, exhale, pull it back. 2 more times, inhale. Lower the hips, lead with the chest, perhaps even lift your feet up towards the back of your head. Exhale, settle it back towards puppy pose. 1 more time, inhale. King Cobra, lift the toes up towards the back of your head, look up. Exhale, settle the feet back down. Downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Take your time wiggling things out. If you want to bend one knee and then the other. Avoid collapsing into your shoulders, pressing into the palms, press into the knuckles, press into the finger pads. You'll notice a little bit more of energetic action in the upper shoulders. Roll the insides of your arms towards your ears. Press down, lift the hips high, and find that beautiful stretch in the backs of your legs. Drop your head down, roll it around a little bit. Notice your breath. Breathing here for another 3. Keep pushing down to pull up and back for 2. Breathe a little bit more space in your back for 1. On the next inhalation, into a high plank position, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, hips are high, downward facing dog. 2 more cycles like this. Inhale into your high plank position. Remember a long line, crown of the head to your heels. Exhale, press down, pull the hips up and back, use your legs. 1 more time, inhale, glide it forward into your high plank position. Exhale, hips are high, downward facing dog. Next breath in, lift your heels high. Exhale, bend your knees. Take tiny steps or jump to the top of your mat. Breath into lengthen, chest forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Pull your way forward, hands can come to your knees, your shins. Exhale, hug the belly in as you round it down for forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, come all the way up. Bring your arms by your ears, reach high, Utthita Hastasana. Exhale, hands to the center of your chest, Samastitihi, equal standing. Breath in, big sweep up. Exhale, follow the breath down for your forward fold. Inhale, lengthen, chest forward. Exhale, step your right foot to the back of the mat. Place the knee to the floor. You can untuck your toes. Arms reach overhead, Anjane Asana, kneeling crescent lunge. Take a breath in. Feel the extension of the torso. Left hip pulls to midline. So you exhale, open your arms to a cactus, a little bit more of a back bend. Breath in, sweep the hands forward. Tuck your back toes. Lift your right knee off the floor. Downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Inhale into a high plank position, shoulders over wrists. You can lower your knees or not, lower down halfway or all the way to the floor. Inhale, a baby cobra, elbows are bent or straighten your arms for your up dog. Press down, lift the chest up, shoulders back. Exhale, hips are high, downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Take a breath in, take a breath out. Inhale, leading with your right inner thigh, raise the right leg behind you, hips are staying level. As you exhale, step your right foot to the top of the mat, to your right thumb. Place the left knee to the floor, arms reach overhead, Anjane Asana. Sink the hips down a little bit lower. On the next breath in, lift the ribs up. Exhale, arms to a cactus, opening the chest. Inhale, sweep the hands forward, tuck your back toes, and step to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen, chest forward. Breath out, bow down, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, bring your arms by your ears, reach high. Exhale, hands to the center of your chest, Samastitihi, equal standing. Breath in, big the arms overhead. As you exhale, hinge down, bending down, chest to thighs. Breath in, lengthen chest forward. Breath out, step your left foot to the back of the mat, place the knee to the floor, kneeling crescent lunge, Anjane Asana. Another breath here, sink the hips lower, lift the ribs up. Exhale, arms to a cactus, lean back. Inhale, slide the hands forward, tuck your back toes, palms to the floor, step to a downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha. Inhale into a high plank position, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, lowering down halfway to the mat. Inhale, elbows bent for baby cobra or straighten your arms, lift your thighs off the floor, open the chest. Exhale, hips are high, downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Next breath, raise your left leg behind you, 3-limb dog. As you exhale, step your left foot to the top of the mat, placing your right knee to the floor. Breath in, bring the arms overhead, kneeling crescent lunge. Exhale, arms to cactus, open up. Inhale, sweep the hands forward, tucking your back toes, launch your way to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen chest forward. Breath out, hug the belly in, forward fold, Uttanasana. Breath in, arms reach overhead, Utthita-hastasana. Exhale, hands to the center of your chest, Samastita, equal standing. Breath in, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, hinge at your hips, follow the breath down. Inhale to lengthen chest forward. As you exhale, step your right foot to the back of the mat, but this time leave your right knee lifted high. Make sure your left ankle is lined over underneath your knee. Press into your left foot to pull your left hip back. Make sure the hips are nice and lined up with one another. That involves pulling your right hip forward even more, pressing into your left foot to pull your left hip back. A lot of work on your left hamstring or strengthening it. You might find a little bit more stretch in front of your right hip crease. Pull your shoulders back as you draw your shoulder blades together. Gather in the belly. Stay here for another 2. 1. As you breathe in, dip the hips a little bit lower, but make sure that your right leg is nice and high. Keep your right heel lifted as you straighten your left leg. Press into the left foot, pull your left hip back. You can even draw your toes towards your shin coming onto your left heel. Flowing this 3 times. Inhale, bend into your left knee. Keep your right leg long. Lift the chest, look up. Exhale, straighten your left leg, pull your toes towards your shin. Inhale, glide it forward, right leg is long. Exhale, straighten your left leg, left hip pulls back. Inhale, dip the hips but lift the chest. Exhale, straighten your left leg for pyramid pose. Then back into your left knee. Right hand plants on the floor. It can be on the support of a block, a shoebox, a book. Left hand to your left hip to pull your left hip back. Place your hand on your sacrum. Make sure you readjust your hips so they're nice and lined up together. Left arm can float out to the left, up towards the ceiling. Continue to engage into your left hamstring as you press into your left foot. Spin the left outer thigh back to midline. Staying here for another breath. As you exhale, draw your left arm behind you. Inhale, guitar all the way forward and up. Exhale, back. Inhale, down and forward. One more time. Exhale, up and back. Inhale, down and forward. Come back to neutral. Settle your left hand outside your left foot. Standing split. You might need to rock your right foot in a little bit, straighten into your left leg as you draw all your weight onto the left leg. It's a lot of work on the left leg right now. Spin the outside of your left thigh back to midline. Lead with your right inner thigh to lift your right leg up a bit higher. Stay here for another breath. As you exhale, settle your right foot to meet your left. Take an inhale, lengthen chest forward. Breath out, hug the belly in, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, bring your arms by your ears, reach high, Utthita-hastasana. Exhale, hands to the center of your chest. Other side, inhale, big sweep up. Exhale, follow it down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step your left foot to the back of the mat, high on the ball of the back foot. Press into your right foot to pull your right hip back. Left leg is long, firmly supported, just like your plank. Your left thigh bone's going up towards the ceiling. Make sure your hips are nice and level, pulling your left hip forward even more. Belly's engaged. Shoulder heads are pulling back as you draw your shoulder blades together. Neck is long. Another 2. 1. Keep the left leg long, bend the right knee even more as you dip the hips, look up. Exhale, straighten your right leg, draw your toes towards your shin, pulling your right hip back. Again, inhale, bend into the knee. Dip it down, look up. Exhale, straighten your right leg, toes towards your shin. Inhale, dip it, look up. Exhale for your pyramid. Inhale, bend into your right knee, keep your left leg long. Left hand underneath your left shoulder. Right hand to your lower back to make sure it's lined up, pulling your right hip back even more. Lead to the center of the chest towards the front of the room. Spin the left ribs to your right inner thigh, bring your right arm overhead. Pressing into your left hand, get a lot more distance from your palm to your fingertips. Continue to cinch the outer hips together. Take a breath in, get even more length, more distance. As you exhale, draw your right arm behind you, swing it down, forward and up. A big loopy circle, warming up your shoulders, up, down, back and up. And as you exhale, draw your right arm back. Inhale, sweep it down, forward and up. Come back to neutral, right hand to the floor. Draw your weight onto your right foot. Gradually bring your left leg up. Again, you're still squeezing the inner thighs together. Lengthen your left leg. Standing split for another 3, 2, 1. Settle your left foot to meet your right. Breath in, lengthen, chest forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Breath out, bow down, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale all the way up. Bring your arms by your ears. Reach high, Utthita Hastasana. Exhale, hands to the center of your chest. Samastitihi, equal standing. Coming through a few Sun Salute A, Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, bring your arms overhead. Exhale, hinge your hips, bending down, chest to thighs, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen chest forward. Exhale, hands plant by your feet. Step back to a high plank, staying here, lowering your knees. Exhale, lower down halfway or half to the floor, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, forward and up, baby Cobra or your upward facing dog. Exhale, hips are high, downward facing dog. Breathe here for 3 cycles of breath. Remember, your neck is long, head is heavy. Inner arms spin towards your ears. Lift your kneecaps up to engage the quads and settle the heels a little bit more to the floor. Another inhale, a little bit longer in the waist. Breath out. Inhale, heels are high. Exhale, bend your knees, push back. Step or jump lightly to the top of your mat. Take a breath in to lengthen chest forward. Breath out, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Arms reach overhead, Utthita Hastasana. Exhale, hands to the center of your chest, Samastitihi, equal standing. Breath in, big sweep up. Breath out, hinge. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands to the floor, step or jump through to your Chaturanga Dandasana, low plank. Inhale, forward and up, Bhujangasana or up dog, Adho Mukha. Exhale, hips are high, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha. Breathing here for 3 breaths. Remember to press firmly into your knuckles. Engage your legs. Feel a little bit more space between your vertebrae. Another inhale. Let it go. Next breath in, lift your heels high. Exhale, bend your knees, step or float lightly to the top of your mat. Take an in-breath to lengthen chest forward. Breath out, bow it down, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, bring your arms by your ears, reach up. Fold right back down, forward fold for your final Sun Salute A. Inhale to lengthen, chest forward, long spine. Exhale, hands plant by your feet, step or float through Chaturanga Dandasana, low plank. Inhale, forward and up, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips are high, downward facing dog. Breath in, breath out. Inhale, feel longer in the torso. Breath out, hips are high. One more inhale, breath out. Next inhalation, lift your heels high. Exhale, bend your knees, step or float lightly to the top of your mat. Breath in, lengthen chest forward. A breath out, bow it down, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, bring your arms by your ears, reach high, Utthita Hastasana. Exhale, hands to the center of your chest, Samastitihi, equal standing. Arms by your sides, mountain pose. Draw the shoulders forward and up, deep breath in, fill all the way up. Open mouth, breath out, let it go. Again, shoulders pulling forward and up. Feel the firm weight on your feet, engage your legs. Open mouth, breath out, release. One more time, inhale, pull your shoulders forward and up. Open your mouths, exhale, let it go. Bring your big toe mounts to touch. Utkatasana, sitting back in your chair. Arms bring overhead. Spin the inner arms towards your ears. Squeeze the insides of your thighs towards one another. Squeeze the outer hips together. Sit back just a little bit more. As you're sitting here, it's not a bar stool. It is a deep, deep chair. You might have to hinge back a bit more as you draw your knees back behind you. Ultimately, your shin bone, your knees would be directly lined over your ankles. But you want to keep reaching the chest forward, dropping your tailbone down, so you don't want to have an overly arching in your lower back. Keep the arms nice and bright by your ears. Sit down a little bit more weight towards your heels. Breathing here for another 3 breaths. Inhale, exhale, squeeze it all together for 2. One more breath in. As you exhale, straighten your legs, you're welcome. Chest to thighs, separate your feet about hips width distance apart. Grab your big toes with 2 fingers and a thumb. Lengthen on the breath in, Padangusthasana. Exhale, bend it down, fold forward. Remember to let your head and neck relax. You can sway from one side to the other if you'd like. Draw a little bit more weight towards the balls of your feet so you're centered on your feet. Staying here for about 5 more breaths. Remember, the head is nice and heavy, so really relax the base of your neck, the space at the tops of your shoulders. Belly is hugging in. Scoop it in. That gives you a little bit more space. Each time you breathe in, there's a lengthening of the front of the spine. When you breathe out, there's a little bit more release in the back body. And release your feet, your hands from your big toes. Bring your feet back together. Bend your knees, Utkatasana, chair pose. Sit down a little bit more deeply. Clasp your hands behind you, open your chest. As you exhale, bow it down. You can separate your feet, hips width distance apart, knuckles up to the ceiling. Take a breath in. Knuckles are still to the ceiling. As you exhale, bend into your right knee, draw your right shoulder down, look over your left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, bend into your left knee, look over your right. One more round. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Exhale, twist to the left, look up. Inhale, straighten the right leg. Exhale, lower the left shoulder down, look over the right. Inhale, straighten both legs, release your hands to the floor. Take a breath in to lengthen chest forward. As you exhale, hands to the floor, you can skip the vinyasa, just step to down dog, or float through your high plank to low plank. Inhale for the back bend of a baby cobra or an up dog. Exhale, hips are high, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. On your next breath, step your right foot to the top of the mat. Warrior one, place your left heel to the floor. Deep bend in your right knee, long back leg, arms reach overhead. Notice if you're collapsing into your left inner arch. Grab more weight onto the outer edge of the foot. As you press into your right foot, charging up the leg, pull your right hip back, slide your left ribs forward. Arms are reaching brightly overhead. You can grab more weight into the outer edge of your back foot. You'll feel a lot more of a lengthening of the left leg. Breathe here in Warrior One for another breath. Keep reaching up. Virabhadrasana 1. It's a strong pose. Leave the lower body where it is. Make sure the belly's still hugging in. Clasp your hands behind you again. Open your chest, shoulder blades together. Exhale, melt the chest over your right thigh. Once you're down here, reorchestrate your hips so that the right hip is still pulling back to midline and back. As you exhale, spin your left outer thigh down and forward. Again, you don't want to collapse into your inner arch of the left foot. Lengthen your arms as you reach the knuckles up to the ceiling and try to just draw them almost even overhead. Stay here for another 2. 1. Come all the way up, pressing firmly into both feet. Release your hands, arms reach overhead. Exhale, hands to the floor. Keep the hips level as you step from your high plank to your low plank. You can always skip the push-up, you know that. Inhale, pull forward and up, upward facing dog, shoulders back. Exhale, hips are high, downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha. Stay here for a breath in, breath out. Other side, step your left foot to your left thumb. Cheat it over to the left. So when you place your right heel to the floor, your hips width distance apart. Firm weight in your left foot, pull your right hip forward and down. Leave that orientation as you bring your arms overhead, Virabhadrasana 1. Continue to hug the left outer thigh back to midline. Continue to grab weight into the outer edge of your back foot. Relax your shoulders as you get the lift up. You're lifting the back ribs away from the back waist, so you're getting a lot more extension in the torso. Arms are nice and bright. Another breath. Capture your hands behind you, find the non-dominant way. The other thumb is on top. Open your chest, shoulder blades together. Dive it down, lead with the chest, chin, and let it bow down. Press into your left heel, hug your left hip back. Lengthen your right leg even more. Knuckles are drawing up to the ceiling. Head is nice and heavy and hanging down. Breathe here for another 3, 2, 1. Your next breath in brings you all the way back up. Arms reach overhead. As you exhale, hands to the floor by your foot. Step from high plank to low plank or skip this. Inhale, baby cobra or your up dog, shoulders back. Lift your thighs off the floor for up dog. Exhale, hips are high, downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha. Take a breath in your down dog. Keep pressing down to pull the hips up and back. Bring a little bit of a bend into your knees. Walk your hands all the way to the back of the mat. Take a breath in to lengthen. Breath out, fold forward. A little bit of a bend into your knees. Have your arms draped down by your legs as you slowly roll up. Feeling the articulation of your spine as they line, the vertebrae line one on top of the other. Shoulders pull forward and up. Open mouth, breath out, let it go. Standing firmly on your left foot, cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh. If this is not happening for you, you can always just draw your right knee out to the side for a tray pose, or even lifting your foot up inside of your leg. Otherwise, you can come into your figure four with the left knee bent, creating a little bit of a platform for your right shin. Hands pressed together at the center of your chest. Wherever you are, make sure the chest is pulling up towards the heels of the hands. In your figure four, curl your toes towards your shin. Draw your right knee down a bit more, but don't collapse into the right hip. Pull the left hip back in space. Find any depth of this pose that's good for you. Perhaps it means bending your left knee a bit more. Continue to gather in the belly, pulling the chest forward towards the hands. Maybe you can even come down so that the forearms are parallel to the shin. Just noticing your breath, gazing softly in front of you wherever you are. Breathing here for another 3 breaths. It's a variation of a chair pose. It's a one-legged half chair pose, right? Gradually bring your way back up. Step your right foot down to meet your left. Bring your arms overhead. Exhale, hinge down, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen chest forward. Exhale, walk your hands all the way to the top of your mat, coming back into a downward facing dog, Ardha Svanasana. Staying in down dog, raise your right leg behind you, 3-limb dog. Pull your left heel back, bend your right knee, open up your right hip. Continue to press weight into your right hand to square off the shoulders. Pull your left heel even more towards the back of the room. Pull your right knee up towards the ceiling. Use your right inner thigh and find this beautiful sense of stretch. Breathing here for another breath in, breath out. On your next inhalation, square it off, extend your right leg. As you exhale, step your right foot to the top of the mat. This time place it between your hands. As you fold down your back heel, you'll be lined up, heel to arch. Bring your left arm overhead for Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. You might need to lengthen your stance. Just like in Warrior 1, right knee is significantly bent. It's directly over your ankle. Left leg is long and firm. There's an angle to your back foot. Arms are reaching brightly out to front and back. And flip your palms so they face the ceiling. Notice how your shoulders kind of relaxed. And just flip your palms back to face the floor. Breathing here for another 3 cycles of breath. Continue to soften into your shoulders. Perhaps you can find a little bit more depth in the front knee, a little bit more length in your back leg. Another 2, 1. Straighten your front leg. Heel to your left foot in just once. Make sure you still have the angle. Left hand to your left hip. As you reach to the front of the room for triangle pose, don't let your left hip get sassy out. You want to leave it right where it is. You're getting a little bit more length and distance from your right shoulder to your right hip. Keep reaching and lengthening, but scissor the inner thighs together. Draw your right hand down. Just tilt it down as you draw your left arm overhead for triangle Trikonasana. Now, once you're here, you can lengthen the right side of the body towards the front of the room a bit more. Spin the right ribs towards the side wall. Lean the left chest back, but continue to cinch the inner thighs towards one another. The right inner thigh is spinning towards the ceiling. Press more weight into your left foot. Feel a little bit more energetic action there. Lift up with the left arm. Find a little bit more support in the hips and the legs for another 2, 1. Place your left hand to your left hip, bend into your right knee. Walk your hand forward on a block, a book. It can come to the floor or even dangle in front of your right leg as you raise your left arm overhead and raise your left leg up for a full half moon rising. Keep lengthening the right chest forward. Keep reaching the left arm up. Keep pulling the left leg back. There's a lot going on here. Breathing here for another 3 cycles of breath. Finding the balance. If you've lost it, just come back into the pose. Another breath. Bend, bend, bend into your right standing leg, coming back into your Warrior 2. Straighten your front leg, reverse your triangle, reach your right arm back. Exhale, curl your hands, plant your palms, and take it through vinyasa, or just skip it. High plank to low plank. Inhale, forward and up, up dog, shoulders back. Exhale, hips are high, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha. Breathe here for 3, 2, 1. Soften into your knees, walk your hands all the way to the back of your mat. Keep the bend in your knees as you slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Arms remain dangling by your sides. Shoulders pull forward up at the peak of your breath in. Open mouth, breath out, let it go. Again, shoulders pull forward and out. Open mouth, breath out, let it go. Good, draw weight onto your right foot and find your standing balance on this side, either your tree pose, Vrikshasana, or crossing your left ankle on top of your right bent knee. Left knee goes down. Don't sass your right hip out. Pull it back to midline. Hands pressed together at the center of your chest. Continue to gather in the belly and pull the chest towards the heels of the hands. You want to maintain length in the front of the spine. Perhaps hinging at your hips a little bit more, bending more deeply into your right knee. Continue to send the hips back as you pull your chest forward, noticing the sense of stretch in your left glute. Breathing wherever you are for another few breaths. Continue to pull the chest forward. In your tree pose, you'll continue to lengthen the torso as you lift your ribs away from the back waist. Everybody eventually all the way up. If you're in your figure 4, everybody bring your knee to the chest, step down into your left foot. Arms reach overhead. Exhale, hinge down, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen chest forward. Exhale, walk your hands to the top of your mat for down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. In down dog, raise your left leg behind you, 3-limb dog. Continue to pull your right hip back in space, heel to the floor. Bend your left knee, yawn it open. Make sure the shoulders are square to the top of the mat. Lead with the left inner thigh as you lift. It's almost like you're trying to draw the left inner thigh to face the ceiling. Breathing here for another 3. Keep pushing weight into the left hand. Get a little bit more space in the left side waist for 2, 1. Square it off, extend the left leg. Exhale, step your left foot to the top of the mat between the hands. Place your right heel to the floor at an angle. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Arms are reaching brightly out side to side. Continue to sink hips nice and low. Bending your left knee, long right back leg. Flip your palms up. Soften your shoulders. Flip them back to face the floor. Continue that bright line of energy from the left fingertips all the way to the right. Shoulders are directly lined over your hips. You might need to do a little bit of an adjustment by dropping your right hip down. Keep reaching and lengthening, breathing here for another 3, 2, maybe sink hips a little bit more deeply, 1. Straighten your left leg. Press weight into your left big toe mound to accomplish this. Heel toe your right foot once to an angle again. Reach and lengthen, reach and lengthen. Pull your left hip back, right hip stays nice and static. Keep reaching and lengthening. Left hand tilts down, right arm reaches overhead for triangle pose. Draw the left chest towards your left shoulder. Find a lot more space and length. Flatten out the right side of your waist. So don't have your right ribs flare out. You need to cinch them together. If that means lifting your left hand up a little bit inside of your leg, that's fine. Right arm reaches overhead. Take a breath in, get some more length. As you exhale, lean the right chest back right into the shoulder blades. Keep reaching up for another breath. Bend, bend, bend into your left standing leg. Right hand can come to your right hip. Gradually glide your weight onto your left foot for half moon rising, Ardha Chandrasana. Left hand down, right arm reaches overhead. Find that long line from the crown of your head to your right toes, perhaps lifting your right leg up a bit higher. It's as if somebody's reaching you up to the ceiling. Neck is long. Another 2 breaths. Lean the right chest back even more. It's like your triangle pose. Eventually bending into your left knee, all the way back into your warrior 2. Straighten your front leg, hands to your hips, parallel your feet. Wide-legged forward fold. Let your hands come underneath your shoulders. As you breathe in, lengthening, come onto your fingertips. Pull your way forward. Shoulders pull back, belly's engaged. Exhale, hug the belly in as you bow it down. 2 more times. Inhale, extend, lengthen. Exhale, hug the belly in, bow it down. 1 more round. Inhale. Exhale. Crawl your right hand in front of you on the floor off the mat. Thread your left arm underneath and grab your right leg. Pull your left hip back, bend your left elbow, look underneath your right shoulder. Glide your right hand even farther in front of you. You'll find more length in the torso, the spine. Then you can find more of a twist, drawing your left ribs towards the right-hand side of the room. Gradually release, come all the way back. Replace your left hand with your right. Slide your right hand underneath and grab your left leg wherever you can. Continue to draw weight to the balls of the feet. Pull your right hip back. Find the twist at the torso. Breath in to lengthen, bend into your right elbow a little bit more. Breath out, perhaps a little bit more twist. Slowly unwind yourselves, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, take a breath in. So you exhale, bend into your right knee for a side lunge, Chandrasana. Draw your right arm in front of your right shin. Left arm reaches back behind you at a diagonal. You can either stay here or wrap your left arm behind you, grabbing for your right hip. Lean the lower back into the forearm as you look over your left shoulder. Take another inhale. A little bit more of a twist as you exhale. Slowly unwind, let your spine do the work for you. Bend into your left knee, glide your way over towards the left, Chandrasana side lunge, toes towards your face. Draw your left arm around your left shin. Right arm reaches diagonally back behind you. Either staying here, getting a little bit more extension from fingertip to fingertip, or bend your right elbow and bring your right hand behind you, grabbing your left hip. Lean back. Breathing here for another few breaths, noticing the stretch you're getting in your hamstrings right now. Slowly unwind yourselves. Just spin all the way around to face the top of the mat. Come behind the ball of your back foot. Hands to the floor. You can either just step to down dog or step to a high plank, lowering down through low plank, chaturanga. Inhale forward and up, upward facing dog, shoulders back. Exhale, hips are high, downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. On your next breath, raise your right leg behind you, three-limb dog. Bend your right knee, yawn it open. Step your right foot outside of your right hand. Place your left knee to the floor for lizard lunge. Sink the hips nice and low. Now benefit from all that extra space you're getting in front of your left hip crease. But make sure you're pressing firmly into the hands to pull the chest forward. Firm weight on your right foot to activate the right leg. Right hand can come to your right knee. Sink the hips a little bit lower, but do not collapse into your left shoulder. You want to find more length from the left hip to the left shoulder, more space from your left palm to your left shoulder. Look over your right. You can stay here or capture your foot behind you, bending into your right knee. Grab the pinky toe side of your foot. Sink the hips nice and low. Press down as you lift the chest up and lean back again, once again into the support of your shoulder blades. Staying here for another 2 breaths. The lower body is sinking down even more. The upper body is getting the extension in the twist. It's a back bend. Draw the shoulder blades to the back of the heart. Slowly release your foot. Bring your right hand to the floor. Heel toe your right foot slips inside of your right hand. Straighten your right leg. Scoot your right heel forward a bit. You can either stay here, take your left hand, tend your left fingertips on a block, a book, or the floor. Right hand to your right hip. Pull your right hip back, lengthen the left chest towards your left toes. Find a twist. Perhaps bring your right arm overhead for a modified revolve triangle. Draw the left chest forward. Spin the ribs to the left and look up. To the right rather than look up. Breathing here for another breath. Slowly unwind yourselves, bend into your right knee, glide your way forward. Tuck your back toes. Straighten your left leg. Step your right foot back to meet it. Lower all the way down onto the chest and belly. Place your left forearm at an angle in front of you so that your shoulder is directly aligned over your elbow. Bend your right knee, reach for the pinky toe side of your foot. Bring your right knee in a little bit more towards midline. Press into your left forearm to lift, pull the chest forward and up, lift up out of your left shoulder. Push the foot into your hand so much you might feel your right thigh lift off the floor. Make sure that your right hip bone doesn't lift up though. You want your hips nice and lined up, square to the mat. Push the foot away, find a back bend in your upper back. Look forward and up just a bit. Breathing here for another 3, 2, 1. Slowly release your foot. Opposite side. Right forearm at an angle. Elbow underneath your shoulder. Bring your left knee back towards midline. Bend into your left knee. Reach for the big toe side of your foot rather. Press into the forearm and lift up. Roll the left chest forward, but pull the left shoulder back. Push the foot into the hand. Start to find a little bit more lift to the left thigh. Don't collapse into your right shoulder. Press down, lift up. Breathing here for another 2. 1. Carefully releasing your foot. Come back to center. Lower all the way down under the chest and belly. Press your hands underneath your shoulders. Find your way slowly, a little bit of a rounding into your lower back, tucking your toes into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Next in-breath, raise your left leg behind you, 3-limb dog. Bend your left knee, yawn it open for just a breath. Step your left foot outside your left hand. Place your right knee to the floor for lizard lunge on this side. Again, sinking the hips nice and low. Lower body is descending to get that stretch, getting that engagement in your left leg. Pressing into your hands to pull the chest forward and up. Continue to draw more length from the hips to the shoulders. Another breath. Right hand underneath your right shoulder, left hand to your left knee. Glide the chest forward, spin the ribs towards your left inner thigh. Bend into your back knee, reach for the pinky toe side of your foot. Push the foot away. Draw the right chest forward, spin the ribs towards your inner thigh, and look over your left shoulder. Find a little bit more of a back bend though. As you lean the left chest back, you can look up. Push the foot into your hand, find a little bit more sensation. Another 2. 1. Slowly release your foot, heel to your left foot so it's inside of your left hand. Straighten your left leg, scoot your left heel forward, hips are lined over your knee, either staying here in a half split or taking your right hand outside of your left leg. Left hand can stay to left hip to pull the left hip back even more. Draw more length, chest towards your knee, draw your left arm overhead and spin towards your left and look over your left shoulder. Continue to stay for another 3, wherever you are. Breath in to extend. Breath out to either twist or release in your half split. 1 more breath here. Carefully unwind yourselves. Bend into your left knee. Crawl your way forward. Tuck your back toes. Step to your high plank position. Exhale. Lower all the way down onto the chest and belly 1 more time. Bend into both knees. Reach for your pinky toe side of each foot. Bring the knees a little bit closer together. Push the feet into the hands. Roll the heads of the shoulders up and back for bow pose. Feel the ribs lift up. Feel the thighs lift off the floor as you press the feet into the hands. Toes are drawing up towards your ceiling. Breathing here for another 5. Maybe a little bit more lift up for 4. Shoulder blades together for 3. Push the feet into the hands for 2. 1. Slowly release it down. Place one hand on top of the other just like at the beginning of class. You can bend your knees and tuck your feet back and forth. Starting to neutralize your spine a little bit. Eventually coming back to neutral. Put your hands underneath your shoulders. Press your way back into tabletop position. Close your eyes about 8 rounds of count and count. Be organic. Anything that's natural and fluid. Start to pace down your breath. Make sure your fingers are still spread wide like at the beginning of class. You can wiggle your hips from one side to the other. You can draw your hips down towards your heels for child's pose. Let your head and neck relax. Breath is softening. Start to bring all of your focus inward. Eventually crossing your ankles. Sit back, slide your weight behind your heels, glide your legs forward and straight. Bring a little bit of a bend into your knees. Grab elbows underneath your thighs. Just drape your chest over your thighs and let your head and neck bow down towards your knees or between your knees. Notice with your hands on your elbows, you can actually pull the elbows closer to the floor. You'll feel a little bit more spread of the shoulder blade wings away from the center of the spine, draping the outer ribs towards the mat. And experiment with changing the grips of the other forearms on top. Maybe you can pull your chest forward even more. Find a little bit more rounding in the upper back, a little bit more length in the tailbone. Breathing here for another few breaths. Eventually release your hands and your elbows. Keep your feet where they are. Slowly roll down all the way onto the mat on the count of 10. Pull the belly in for 9, 8, 7, 6. Don't move your feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slide your legs long in front of you. Draw your arms way back behind you. Take a long, full breath in. Find that beautiful stretch. Open mouth breath out. Let it go. Release. Bend your knees. Bring your knees into your chest. Give yourselves a little bit of a squeeze. You can rock and roll around a little bit. And straighten your right leg all the way to the floor. Straighten your left leg up to the ceiling. Grab wherever you can on your leg as you draw your chest towards your shin, towards your knee, towards your thigh. You can roll out your ankle a little bit. Get a little in the back of the leg right now from all that work you just did. Encourage your chest up towards your thigh for another breath. Slowly release down, then into your left knee. Take your right hand to your left knee. Draw it over to the right and look over your left shoulder. Continue to glide your left hip forward. Settle your left shoulder to the floor. Another few breaths here. Return your way back to center, straightening your left leg. Bring your right knee to your chest, straighten your right leg. Roll your hands up as far as you can go. Finding a sense of stretch behind your right leg. Toward your thigh a bit more. Gradually draw your shoulders back down, bend into your right knee. Direct it over towards the left. Draw your right arm out to the right, and turn your head to the right. Breathing here for another 4, 3. Settle your right shoulder to the floor a little bit more for 2, 1. Gradually come back to center. Straighten both legs in front of you. Let your feet and knees roll open. Arms by your sides, palms face up. Take a long, slow, smooth breath in. Open mouth breath out. Slowly slide it out. Settling into your Shavasana for as long and as comfortably as you can in your own personal space. Enjoy the opportunity to let the entire movement of your practice settle in so that you can achieve a sense of stillness and silence. Feel a heaviness in the back of the body on the mat, grounding you. Feel a sense of lightness in the front body as it melts into the back body. I encourage you, if you have the time, to just hit the pause button and stay in your Shavasana as long as you'd like. And eventually, everybody start to move your fingers and toes and ankles and wrists. Roll your head from one side to the other. One more time, bring your arms way long behind you. Take a full body breath in, stretch, reach and lengthen. Open your mouth, exhale, let it go. Gradually bring your knees into your chest and roll over onto your right side. Settle here for a few moments. Completing your practice, sealing it in. Eventually, when you're ready, bring your way into a comfortable cross-legged seated position facing the front of the room. Bring the hands to press together at the center of your chest. Sit up just a bit taller. Together, we'll take one more breath in. Long, slow, smooth breath in. Feel the extension. Open your mouth. Exhale. Let it slowly slide out, clearing everything away. I honor the light in you that is the light in me, and I thank you so much for sharing it with me. Namaste. I'm Teri. Have a great day.